Hey guys, welcome back to another quick video here. Where we're working on jQuery, and I have a scenario for you, and I've already plotted out, um, written out an HTML file here, and this is the scenario. So the scenario is we have a table within our body section. We already have jQuery loaded. All right, we already have the ready function ready, and we're gonna do some editing here soon. But we have a scenario where we have a table, as you can see here. The table is here. And we have rows. TR means rows, and within the rows we have cells, right? We have cells. So I just have string 1, string 2, string 3, etc. And I have basically 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and each of these rows has 3 columns: 1, 2, 3. And what that looks like is this. Okay, so this is what it looks like: string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the scenario is this: what if we wanted to change all of the text within these tables, within these cells? How would we do this with jQuery? Now, there's a few ways to do this. Obviously, there's, with programming, there's always multiple ways of doing this. But what we could initially see is that all of the areas that we want to change the text, they have the TD tag. So in theory, we could basically use this TD tag to change all of the content for all of these elements, right? So let's call it an element, right? We'll call it TD or the cell an element. And let's change this dynamically, all with basically one line of code. So we already initialized the jQuery ready function. So we have a function here. And what I'm about to do is I'm going to change all of the text within this to something that I want. Okay, so the easiest way, and this is not necessarily the recommended way, I'm just showing you how it is. We'll talk about why this could be a problem and how we could go about fixing this problem as well, is like this. So we could open up with our $sign. We could choose to select using the selector. In this case, the selector would be TD without the dot or the number sign, because in this case it's an actual tag. So with a tag, when you're pointing to a tag, you don't need to put anything in front of it. You just put the tag itself without the arrows. And then inside there, you could do HTML. And then inside there, we could say, hello. Okay. And this should, in theory, do something wonderful. Let's see. We're going to save it. We're going to run it back. Okay, as you can see, all of these changed to hello. Okay, which is awesome, right? And you might be wondering, well, why would you ever want to do something like this? Well, firstly, let's say you were, setting up. Let's say that you were building a social platform page, and let's say it's on the profile page. Let's say that this was the profile page, and in multiple spots on this page, you would want to have the person's name, for example, to be repeated. So for example, there might be at the top here, you'd want a guy named John, and on the right hand side you might still want his name to be John, so you'll put that there. Instead of having to write multiple lines of code to edit and to remember where you need to make changes, you could just simply do something like this, where you know which tag is where you want to put the name, and then you just edit it with one line like this. So let me show you. Okay, so first of all, let me mention that this might be bad if you have multiple tables, right? So if you had multiple tables with different data, you wouldn't want to use such a generic tag, generic selector, which in this case is the tag, because it would edit every single table. And of course, those other tables may have different information you don't want to edit. So let's refine this a little bit. Let's just say, and in this case, let's change this to John. Let's say we wanted to specify that in a specific area we wanted to name something John, the person's name. Basically, there's an easier way to do this, which is we could go ahead by adding a class. So for example, let's say that we wanted this area here in string 2, which is in the middle here, to be John. We could do something like name this class name. So we could literally name it name, right? And let's see, well, you know what? Let me show you the placeholders back first, so you are aware of the names. Okay, so we have all of this here, string 1, 2, 3, etc. And what I changed was, what I added was class name for string 2, which is string 2 is in the middle. And let's say string 12, we wanted to also put John's name in there. Then you do the same thing for John's name, right? So under string here, you name the class name. And then what you could do is go back up, and instead we use again a different selector. This time we'd use the class dot name. Well, the name is the class, right? And you have to put the dot in for it to know that it's a class. And then you put in .html, and let's put John Doe, okay? And we save that, and then we reload. And what that would do is it would make John appear on both sides. And so, again, I'm coming back to the point that you may not necessarily need like a higher end framework like React to do something as simple as this. You could just use normal jQuery to do that. And as you can see, it did it really, really fast. Now, there's another way of doing this, but you don't have to do it because this does it so well, which is you could use the each function. There's also the each function. Let me show you what the each function looks like. So basically, that's $, in this case, name, .each, and then you can provide it with a function with an empty argument, of course. You don't need an argument. But it's assumed that what this would do is it would look for every matching element by this class name, which is name. So it would go through each one, and it would basically, it's like a for loop, but you don't get to see the for loop. And that's what this does. So in essence, you may be wondering, well, how would you change each one? As long as you use the each function, this becomes available, the actual with this. So what this refers to is whichever element that it matches. So it would match this one, right? String 2. And it would match this one, string 12, right? And so this would first match string 2, and then it would loop again and match this one and go along like that, right? It's, as I said, it's more or less the same thing. So this is just a longer way of doing it. You could change the HTML here and you could put John Doe, and it should do the same thing. So if we save this and we run this, we should see no change. It should do the same thing. So you have two options of being able to change things based on their tags. Well, not tags, but their classes. And you wouldn't want to do this with an ID, right? The reason we use the class is because there can be multiple classes of the same name. However, ID is meant to be unique. So that's why we didn't use ID instead of name. Now, it would work, but it's not best practice to do that. So with that being said, I want to keep this video short, so I'll probably stop here, but I hope that this helped you out in terms of how you could use jQuery to quickly, and when I mean quickly, there's very little setup, there's very little configuration required to be able to change spots or change text in multiple areas at the same time. With that being said, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if, of course, you have any questions on how to do something, please let me know and I'll try to work on a tutorial to help you guys out. Thanks so much. See you guys again soon. Bye.